Well, here's where we get to have some fun with our document by creating some visual interest with graphics. We'll talk about inserting shapes and icons, adding photos and other types of images, and making changes and adjustments to those in this chapter. Let's begin, though, with adding a shape or an icon to our document. We'll continue working with our Tech Connect document 0701 if you're catching up. And let's go down to the bottom of page 2. Now we can go anywhere in a document and start inserting things like shapes and icons. But if we want it to appear, say, at the bottom of every one of our pages, starting at page 2 here, we could instead go down to the footer area to insert our shape. Let's do that. Double-click below the 2. Now we're in the footer for section 1. Now click anywhere down there to deselect the page numbering. And instead of typing something, we'll insert something that's graphical in nature. Let's go up to the Insert tab. Now we'll start with icons. There are a number of different icons in different categories to choose from. It's going to open up this whole new window. You'll see all the categories down the left. For example, if we go down to weather and seasons, we might want to insert this sun. With it selected and checked off, we'll click Insert. Now it gets inserted at a default size, but we can go to the handles to size this down. If we want to move it around, we have to change how it's anchored. Right now, we saw that cursor flashing on the left-hand side of our screen. Well, it's just like any other character. It's anchored. Well, we can change how it's anchored by either going to this little pop-up for layout options or by going up to the Format tab under Graphics Tools. You can see there's a Wrap Text drop-down. Click that. And this is just to decide how text, if we add any, is going to wrap around. Instead of being in line with text like any other character, that's why it's over there on the left, we can choose one of these. I'm going to go with square. Now I can take this and move it anywhere down here in my footer area. I can resize it with the handles, maybe a little bit bigger. And we can make adjustments to the formatting as well. Notice the graphic styles. You can choose something like a reddish color, or maybe just an outline. If we don't like that color, we can change the outline color. Let's go to a nice dark red. We can make it thicker by going to the weight, bumping it up from 1, say, to 1.5, like so. All cool things that we can do, but what we can't do is actually get in there and type something inside. So it's not going to suit our needs. I think we need a graphic down there that kind of looks like a sun with a 30 for red 30 in the center. So hit your delete key. That removes the icon. We're back to the page numbering being highlighted. Just click anywhere to deselect. Instead, we'll go to Insert. This time go to Shapes. Shapes also have categories: lines, rectangles, basic shapes, arrows. You can see some cool ones down below for stars and banners, for example. I think this basic shape here kind of looks like a sun, and it is. We'll give it a click. Now, unlike an icon, we actually get to choose where this is going to go, and we click and drag to draw it. Notice your mouse is a crosshair. So let's go back over to the right corner, click and drag across and down to get a nice big sun, and release. Notice the handles around the outside, so we can resize it if we need to. Bring it up a little bit. And this extra handle on the inside for adjusting the ellipse in the center versus the rays. Just click and drag in and out until you get exactly what you're looking for. And of course, we can format this as well. Look at the Format tab selected up here. Instead of graphic styles, we see shape styles now, and we see many of the same ones. We can select something like an outline, change that outline to that deep red. Change the outline by going back to the drop-down. Click it and hover over weight and select something heavier like 1.5 points. There we go. Here's what's really cool though. With it selected, we can just start typing. Type in 30. You can see it goes right in the center there, and it's using the default text formatting. So we can click and drag over the 30 to select it, and with it highlighted, we can start doing things to the text right here from the formatting toolbar, like bolding it, changing the color to that same red if we wanted to, and bumping up the size. Let's go up to 12 points. Click anywhere in the footer area to deselect, and then double click up above to see what that looks like. So we've inserted the shape because we did it in a footer. It should appear at the bottom of the next page. And it does. And the next, and so on. And we could have done that anywhere on our page, but by doing it in the footer, we get to see it repeated without having to do the work ourselves. So that's working with shapes. Maybe it would be better if we had an actual logo, a Red 30 graphic that we could use instead of that shape, which kind of looks homemade. We'll talk about that next.